All right, two big stories on immigration this week. First of all, our friend Tom Homan saying he wasn't quite ready to take up his post as President Trump's new border czar.
Talk to administration officials about what a border czar should look like based on my 34 years experience, what I think would be successful. But I have not accepted any position at this time, and I'll just leave it at that.
And then just yesterday, the president announcing a 2-week delay to his plans for a major deportation push, following up today with a plea to Congress to use that time to deal with the asylum loopholes in the system. Here's the president. I want to give the Democrats every last chance to quickly negotiate simple changes to asylum and loopholes. This will fix the southern border together with the help that Mexico is now giving us. Probably won't happen, fair enough, but worth a try. 2 weeks and big deportation begins. Of course, any time immigration is mentioned, the Democrats and their establishment state media allies go straight to screaming about racism. But here was something interesting that might give us a better idea of how this might all play out in 2020. It was from an MSNBC roundtable of Latino voters in Florida, and they didn't get quite the answer they were expecting.
I think Trump has been the most pro-Latino president. Yes, he has been tough on immigration, but the only way for the immigrants to thrive that are here legally, is for us to control immigration, for us to know how many people are here, for us to know that we live in a safe country. People come to this country because we have rule of law.
I mean, it was just such a perfect encapsulation, wasn't it? We're all agreeing around the table on of the case for strong border enforcement. From immigrants, you know, I always say when we talk about immigration, I'm an immigrant myself. My family was an immigrants from Hungary, communist Hungary, to the UK. We immigrants want proper border enforcement.
Absolutely. And I'm the daughter of an immigrant. I'm the first generation on my mom's side to be born in the United States. And she was Latin. She was from Cuba. And so I understand this very well. And I spend a lot of my time in the region, in Central America and in Mexico. President Trump is dealing with something that has been a crisis now for decades. And every single administration, and I have covered this from the Bush administration on, every single administration, Bush, Obama, and now Trump, but for the first time has made promises. He's intending to keep them. Yeah. He's intending to push forward and say, we need a solution. And that's part of those loopholes. Without the change in the law, we will not be able to stop the flow. And the Flores agreement, that's where we start.
Lisa, do you think that there's any chance in this 2-week pause of getting the changes that Sarah was just talking about on asylum?
No, I don't think you're going to get the changes on asylum. I think you're going to get the humanitarian aid, but that does nothing to address the underlying issue that we're facing. And the problem is these illegal immigrants are exploiting our laws. And we know this because we have people that are literally renting children to come across the border because they know if they're a family unit, they'll be catched and released. And I think it's sending the wrong message. If we're saying that illegal immigrants who have received their final deportation orders cannot be removed from the country, who can be? So I actually really disagree with President Trump for waiting on this. I do not think he's going to get those big fixes. And ironically, I think the craziest thing that happens in the Trump era are things that previously used to not be as controversial suddenly become controversial. For instance, President Obama deported more illegal immigrants than President Trump has.
Right.
But yet under Trump, it's become this, crazy, we cannot.
But it's just like with Iran, isn't it?
Who have lost their asylum cases or they're illegal.
Again,
it's crazy.
With Iran, with the border, going back to Iran, only President Trump could get the Democrats who pretend to be pro-peace all of a sudden pro-war.
Exactly.
It's like only President Trump could pull that off. And let's just make another point here. Isn't it amazing that Mexico's doing more to stop illegal immigration than the entire Democrat Party? Isn't it amazing that a foreign country is doing more to stop the flow of foreign nationals coming into our country than the Democrat Party?
It's so embarrassing. And then at the same time, they're all ranting and raving about, toothbrushes and so. Why doesn't Nancy Pelosi send some, soap and silk
how about this?
From her
how about instead of funding
mansion?
NPR, hundreds of millions of dollars? Why don't we send the money that we fund NPR to go fund the beds of the southern border?
So I just want to get your quick take on the Tom Homan story. I think that's really significant. Here's my take on what happened, which is that the president quite rightly sees Tom Homan as someone who shares his approach, will get tough, wants to get it done. The bureaucracy, total resistance. We don't want this guy, and so they can't agree that he'll have the powers he needs to actually do what the president wants him to do. That's what I think is going on here.
No doubt. And look, this is their big stand, the Democrats, because for them, they look at these people as future voters. They don't look at them as human beings. They don't look at them as foreign nationals. They look at it as a political opportunity for them in the future. And that's how they view basically everything.
Okay, Tom Homan, is he going to get this job sorted out?
I think he will get it sorted out, and I think I do have hope that there's going to be some kind of compromise. Look, all the Democrats have to do within the next 2 weeks, and I've spoken to Senator Graham about this just recently, is they need to come up with some type of compromise, and I think that there'll be something happening on the Flores agreement, and I think they're going to try to do that within the next 2 weeks. Now, that's not a guarantee, but look, if the Democrats really care about the people that are coming across that border, they are going to stop the drug cartels from perpetuating the violence that they commit against these people, against our nation, both with their drugs and contraband and what they've done to the poor people that they're trafficking.
They don't want to talk about Tom Homan. It's very interesting. I do. I think he's really what this country needs.
He's
Get him in there.
amazing.
We all love
Okay,
Tom Homan.
We just have
We love
Get him in there.